Well, the Chicago Bears wasted no time at all. Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central. We're going to break down the new deal that's bringing Jaylen Johnson back to the Chicago Bears on a long-term 4-year deal. We'll talk about all and more right after this.
Into Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host here, Haize, joined by Stevo in the building. Stevo, a deal that we all expected to happen just happened. The Bears didn't waste very much time. What was it? It's been 2 days since they franchise tagged Jaylen Johnson. They're able to reach a long-term deal, 4 years, $75 million. That's going to pay Jaylen Johnson an average annual salary of $18.7 million is, I believe, the way that it works out, something like that. That's quick math. Off the top of my head, I'm not a mathematician, so don't judge me, judge your mama. But Steve, how do you feel about this deal, brother?
I don't understand the franchise tag. Like, if you was gonna do it so fast, why you just didn't pay the man? But I mean, as long as you got the deal done, that was my main concern, is just getting the deal done. You don't really want somebody that's been talking about getting this contract to be playing on a franchise tag, because you just know 9 times out of 10 that's just something they ain't trying to deal with. And egos getting involved, and that's just something you want to avoid. So I'm just glad we came in here, gave that man his money. So that's one less thing we got to worry about.
That's a fact. Bobby's in the building with the shades on. Shout out to Bobby with the shades on.
I ain't got the flip phone. Shout out to
Poe. Ryan Poe's in his mug, man. How you feeling about this deal, Bobby?
Hey, great job from both sides. Yeah. Jaylen Johnson let you know, hey, just make me a respectable offer, and I'm willing to stay. Hey, I think the franchise tag was around this $19 million per year. Hey,
19.8, so they get him a little bit less than the franchise tag.
Yeah, so shout out to them. I'm happy that they got it done. And hey, at some point, like you said earlier, Haize, the Bears got to lock down players, bro.
Yeah.
You got to lock down your blue chip players, and this is one of you guys that you absolutely need. And the greatest thing is, only 24 years old. And you locking them up for the next 4 years. And then after that, you figure it all out once that time comes. But I'm happy that we got it done as this team continues to build itself out.
Yeah, and when you look at Jaylen Johnson, like he's done, as we've all said before, everything that you draft a player and you hope that they're going to become, Jaylen Johnson has done that. He's one of the best corners in the game of football, any way that you chop it up. Once you saw a more formidable defensive line, he played even better, got those interceptions. I know a lot of people have some concerns like, well, he did that in the contract year, and most of that was towards the end of the year. But listen, even taken away from that, and that's one thing I said to everybody, that you can be one of the better corners in the league. That it's not just about it. Would you like to get the interceptions? Yeah. But I think sometimes you try to look at just what a player doesn't do and kind of ignore some of the people. Don't pass to Jaylen Johnson for a reason. That just is what it is. The main part of his job is to stop the corners from catching the ball. I mean, the wide receivers from catching the ball. You know what he does? He does that so well that they don't even usually pass it to the guy that he's guarding. So he does his job, man.
Yeah. He's been doing that going back to college. He's been doing that since he was at Utah. Like, that was the scouting report. They're most likely going to throw to the right side because he got the left side locked. That's 9 times out of 10 he's a covered. 9 times out of 10 he's going, especially when you got him playing man. The likelihood of you getting open is low, and if it do, it's going to take time. So that's going to, and when you have a defensive line such as ourselves, when we start getting the D line, that's when you start him being able to see them picks, also being called into man, which we wasn't doing when we had the first DC. So when you get a combination of Sweat, Dexter starting to figure out our defensive line, you got us being way more aggressive on certain downs, it was going to open up picks for him. We didn't do too many things to open up picks, especially when you're not having to play in the man most of the time. So when you put him in man, do all that, he was going to get picks.
Yeah, and I think that's fair because along with that defensive line, we remember how Eddie Jackson was with a great defensive line. And then we seen, kind of like a drop off. Probably wasn't as great as those years we seen Eddie Jackson this past season, but it was still, decent. You know what I'm saying? And Stevo, I know you mentioned that side that Jaylen Johnson playing on lockdown. I believe Tyreek Stevenson is on his way as well. And let's not forget about Kyler Gordon. So that's why I just think that right now, the way that Brian Poles is laying this thing out, it's pretty damn good. You got DeMarcus Walker for the low. You got Montez Sweat locked up. You got now Jaylen Johnson locked up. You got your 2 linebackers for a few more years. Bro, it's so many young pieces that's going to be around for a few more years. And it seemed like Ryan Poles is like, okay, cool. Let me see how I can make sure these contracts kind of line up with each other so we can see where we're at once that time comes. So I got to give a lot of credit to these guys. And I'm really, really happy for Jaylen Johnson. Shout out to him.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like you look at it and say that, like, yeah, the whole secondary. Now we know we need a new safety in there because Eddie Jackson's gone, but you would expect that the Bears are probably going to replace that either with a rookie in this draft or if they get a free agent. Typically, Matt Eberflus doesn't sign players over 25, 26 years old, so you're going to get some like this whole secondary is between 24. Jaylen Johnson will be 25 by the beginning of the season and 22 years old. These are guys that can grow and develop. And Bobby, I love that you pointed out that Tyreek Stevenson is already showing that dog mentality already. So now you have the potential in the secondary to have Jaylen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, Jaquan Brisker, Kyler Gordon, even Terrell long-term with whoever you add to it. That's how you start setting a foundation. Right now you got your defensive line with Montez Sweat, the anchor there. You got young guys that you're hoping to develop up. We'll see what they do with that other edge. The linebacking core is set. All young guys potentially there as well with a mix of veterans with TJ Edwards, the oldest linebacker we have on the roster. So like
crazy.
We have the foundation of not just a good defense, a potentially great defense. If you shore up some of we only have a few holes on the defense. You shore those up with the safety, get another really good edge in here. You're talking about a defense that, and I've been saying this for a while now, the Bears may make the defense off the nature of how strong make the playoffs off the nature of how strong their defense is alone next season. And this was a big part in going that way. So,
bro, and if you pay attention today for the safety spot, there's a lot of people that just hit the marketplace. And I was like, oh Lord. Like, so like I won't be like, I know you said like usually we go for the younger player. We might go and look into the draft, which is cool. We do need more depth at that position. I do believe we turned somebody into a safety last year. He was originally a corner. We turned into a safety. So I would like to get somebody more that's been playing safety majority of his career. But like I said, you got Justice Simmons out there. You got Jordan Poirier out there. Not really too interested in Jamal Allen, Kevin Byard, Rashawn Jenkins. There's a lot of dudes out there that you can that's pretty serviceable next to pretty good that you can sign on this team to fill up that hole that Eddie had.
Yeah, and to add on to that, Quandre Diggs, I like him.
Yeah,
he hit. He ain't afraid to tackle, and he got some range on him. I believe he's a solid complement to Jaquan Brisker, but you never know. You know what I'm saying? He is on the other side of 30, and then we don't know what kind of money he's gonna, want in this offseason. So I think that's another option. But the Bears can do so many things with this offseason that's about to start next week.
Absolutely. KD's a sellout says, what's our cap space at now? So with the trade for Bates, now with JJ re-signed, even though like I said, less than what his franchise tag was, the Bears sit at about $45 million in cap space. That's why on the daily episode today, I pointed out, don't think the Bears are getting any of these tier 1 free agents. They're going to get a lot of B-level free agents, but those big names, those players like a Danielle Hunter and people that we talked about, that's going to command $20+ million, Chris Jones, those guys aren't coming. But don't let that make you guys forget that there's still some really good quality free agents out there that can really help this team a lot next season. So.
Yeah. Of course. And that's what you really want. You want your guy to take care of the money the correct way instead of just throwing money just for the sake of a name. You want to have sustained success. Like what we got after 2018. After that big year, big names came through, a lot of money was spent. You had your Akeem Hicks who was making big money, Khalil Mack, Eddie Jackson got paid, all that stuff. But you need these young guys to go ahead and flourish. So, like Haize said, you want to add those free agents and try to fill those voids. But again, everything will not be filled this offseason. It is going to have to be some guys that the coaching staff is going to have to do their job with. You're going to have to develop them to the point to where they can hold their own. And then hopefully those can be some of the young players you can continue to build this thing out with.
Yeah. Ken, Mooney is a free agent. We don't need to cut Mooney. He's a free agent. Technically, they just don't have to re-sign him.
I can tell some of y'all ain't paying attention, bro.
Yeah, they really not. What's the cap? What will the cap be if Fields gets traded? Well, it depends on if they don't take anything back for Fields. His Fields contract is $6.5 million. So you add that puts us a little bit over $50 million. So if he's traded, we'll see what happens with that one. But
and if y'all still got any burning questions, that means y'all ain't following the number one spot for Chicago Bears.
I answer these every single day. No. So now with this contract, this puts Jaylen Johnson as the 4th highest paid cornerback in the NFL. I said 75 million, it's actually $76 million. So my bad on that one. It is $19 million. I was making the math harder on myself with that one. But what do you think is that where you kind of see Jaylen Johnson at with that salary as far as being one of the top paid corners in the league?
That's literally I told y'all exactly what type of contract I wanted to give him early in the season, and this is exactly what I wanted. I said he's not the best. I'm not willing to pay him the best type of money, but he's in the top 5 of one of the best corners in the league, so he deserves top 5 money, and that's exactly what it is. 19 a year. Maybe a little bit over that, depending on. I'm more eager to see how they set up this contract, if it's front heavy or back heavy. So that's the next thing.
I have the details on that. I was just about to get into that. So we have 2 different reports. So one report says that it's $43.8 million guaranteed. Courtney Cronin pointed out that it's $54 million guaranteed. So whatever between there, but it looks like he's getting $60 million in the first 3 years of the contract. So it's a front loaded contract. I always think that's best for a team too, because as you see how holes pop up, you gain more money by the contract being front loaded, so it actually helps you kind of build your team going forward. So
and it's difficult to back heavy contracts that's corners and wide receivers and quarterbacks. Like it's just, you don't usually back heavy contracts. So you just giving that man his money, especially as somebody that respects the people that play football, putting their body on the line, especially at the corner position. Yeah, he need to get his money, most of his money, as early as possible. So I like that they did that.
Agree. It's physical sport. And then I know y'all been seeing a lot of releases from the Buffalo Bills. Can you guess why? Money.
Broke as hell.
I believe Josh Allen, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, it was like 25 million last year. This year, kicking upwards of 50 million per. They had to cut them people. And that's what happens when that back end, that money started to kick in on the back end. So I think Ryan Poles is doing everything he needs to be doing. He's being smart and methodical with his approach. Hey, again, put the shades on, pull out your old flip phone. I know some of y'all got them in the attic or the basement. Hell, if you ain't got one,
I keep them standby in the studio. I meant to open the show with this too. You gotta every time Ryan Poles makes a deal, I'm gonna just open the show with these mugs on. You already know.
Y'all know what we call it. Caroline.
Ryan Poles gets it done again. And the thing is, too, that I want everybody to remember is that, listen, Ryan Poles, I know that he got that stigma over the first 2 off seasons that he had coming in here of, is he going to pay our guys? I think we need to change that rhetoric now, because he paid Cole Kmet, got paid. Jaylen Johnson, he got paid. So while people like Roquan didn't get paid, yes, we traded away Khalil Mack. It's all about what makes sense, right? And when you look at what Khalil Mack didn't make sense on this team anymore. I get it. I loved Mack too. He didn't make sense, right? Roquan, they wanted to keep Roquan. Roquan got to tripping and had a fake agent start calling people. And then they ended up paying less for 2 linebackers that both had over 100 tackles last year than just for Roquan Smith's contract. So,
and that's the difference between 2018 and now. 2018 contracts, there was no maybe we can revisit this after maybe a failed 1 to 2 years. It was either you better win a goddamn Super Bowl or it's over. With these contracts, they're young enough still where you can possibly have a second contract with these dudes if you want to do that. So that's the way you are usually supposed to do that, and that's the way they usually set up if you want to kind of build a dynasty.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, man, well, hey, this is the first kind of big signing of this offseason, other than the first move they made was getting Ryan Bates. So we know Jaylen Johnson's going to be here. We know now that cornerback, they don't have to worry. They don't have to look. We don't need to look at cornerbacks at all, for real. We got more than enough depth there. You can focus on your safety, focus on your edge on the defensive side of the ball. And other than that, it's all offense kind of to focus on after that. So we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll get them big boys up front.
Definitely get that offense together. See if you can get some more of those free agents through the door. And I don't think you need to absolutely go crazy. That's just my personal opinion. I think that you don't have to absolutely overpay for some players, especially with what you have in place. You got your number one wide receiver, your number one tight end, a good running back room. You're trying to build out your offensive line. You got some good pieces on that offensive line. Yeah. You don't have to do too much, but you still got to do something. You still got to build this thing out. So I can't wait. Man, we just getting started. Let's go.
For sure. Ashton the Assassin says, hey, I know you talked about getting 2 first-round picks if we traded JJ, but how would those picks work? Would it be 33 and 34 after the first round? No, so it would be that team's first-round picks in the subsequent years. I think. Listen, It don't matter now. He didn't sign with another team, but yeah, I believe it would have worked. In I don't think it all comes in one year. It's the following season. So we would have got the following 2 seasons would have got first-round picks. So.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I don't know,
but yeah, hey, I love the deal. You don't typically see somebody who signs the franchise tag sign for less than the franchise tag. That's what he did, and it's a great value for a player that's 24, about to be 25 years old, and like we said before, has done everything that you've needed a player that you drafted to do. Period.
Facts. And we got him, young guy. Gonna continue to be around for some years. You ain't let him walk out the door, and you gave him a solid contract.
Strap.
Can't be mad at that. If you fussing about this contract, my goodness, please find something else to do.
Right. He's the fourth. He's the 4th highest,
and he's actually so the $19 million. He's 19 exactly. Trayvon Diggs at 19.4, Marlon Humphrey at 19.5. And Marshawn Lattimore at 19.5 are above him. So technically, he's the 7th highest paid cornerback in the league. And he's better than about 3 of those people I just named.
Facts.
So
we here, baby.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Like it is what it is.
It is what it is. Bears fans are going to complain one way or another. King Booker in the building says Poe's being a man and doing what he says he will. Hey, he said that Jaylen will be back, and he made that happen. So.
Absolutely.
That is what it is, man.
He better, because I was getting nervous. He kept on saying shit and wasn't doing it. I was getting a little nervous. I was
getting a little nervous, so I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I got a little nervous there, but then I thought about it. Well, he set it up to where if a team did sign him, we were gonna get 2 first-round picks, and you give Ryan Poles 2 first-round picks, he was gonna cook. So I felt like either way, I was confident in it, but now we don't have to worry about it. So any last thoughts, fellas, before we get up out of here?
You got something, Steve-O?
You got one final decision to make.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Hurry up.
Just get it done so we can get the live over with and we can move on, bro. Like, because even in there, I'm tired of seeing people, wait till we'll see what we get with trades. What do we see what we get when we trade the number 1 pick? Just do it so we can just know what the fuck is going on. But go ahead, Bobby. What you got, bro?
Facts. We got we got so many people in here. Thank y'all for tuning in to the number 1 spot for all your Chicago Bears stuff. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe in my Steve-O Speaks voice. But then secondly, ladies and gentlemen, do not make a fuss about all these damn draft picks. Please don't. At some point, the Chicago Bears have to get guys that are proven, have to get guys that, have made a name for themselves around the league. I understand that some people like, well, now we only have 5 picks. But hey, guess what? They gave up a 5th-round pick, and let's keep it a buck. Most 5th-round picks end up on a practice squad or on another team within the same year. Yeah. Let's be happy that these guys are making good, sound decisions, and I believe more picks on the way anyway.
Facts. We got a question from Sports Gear. So, no, the tag goes away. The tag is only there if they don't reach a deal. They reach the deal. So that 1 year on the tag goes away. So, no, it's 4 years right now. Yep. 4 years is what we got them for. So, but all right, y'all, we're the number 1 spot. For everything Chicago Bears related. You see how quick we got this mug out? Come on now. Like, ain't nobody doing it like us. There's some really great Chicago Bears podcasts out there. Especially, listen, if y'all haven't seen the argument between Swifty and Cap over on that podcast, y'all got to watch that. That is hilarious, bro. And I hate David Kaplan. I hate David Kaplan. So I was watching that. Like, David Kaplan completely melted. That man, he went senile there for a second, bro. You would have thought this. You would have thought that somebody tickled his wife's. Never mind. But anyway, I love you guys, man. Make sure you guys,
Send the link.
Make sure you guys follow us at Chi Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. Thanks to you guys. Chi-Town up, Bear down. Peace, y'all.